I'd like to call to order this study session of District 116 for Tuesday, May the 2nd, 2017. Roll call, please.
Member Carter?
Here.
Member Hall?
Here.
Member Patton?
Here.
Member Pulaski?
Here.
Member Fisher is here. Vice President Rollins-Gay and President Nemeth.
Here. We do have a quorum present. I need to correct that this is a study session as well as our organizational meeting subsequent to the election last month. So we'll get to that in due time. Are there any additions, corrections, or modifications to this evening's agenda?
No, there are not.
We have, the next opportunity is for citizen statements. If there's anyone that wishes to address the board, they should fill out a goldenrod sheet and submit it to our recording secretary. And while we're giving folks an opportunity to do that, if they wish to do so, would like to recognize Brittany Williams for running the cameras for us this evening. Brittany is a junior at Urbana High School.
Hey, Brittany.
So is she duly embarrassed now?
She didn't know you were talking.
So that's that way everyone at home can watch us, so that's great. Thanks, Brittany. I am last call for citizens that wish to address the board. Seeing none, we have no call for an executive session after this evening's meeting. We do need an approval of the agenda, and then we'll go into items regarding the reorganization. So is there a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Now, we need to accept the certified election results of the April 4th, 2017 consolidated election. And considering that there were 5 candidates and all 5 were running unopposed in their individual sub-districts. And do we have official word from...
They were mailed on Friday and I have
not received it yet from the county clerk. So we're in a little bit of a conundrum here in that we have to reorganize tonight because of the timelines. So we'll have to accept in absentia, I guess, the certified results. Lori, were you informed that there was any differences between the... They're the same. Okay, so we're basically having to accept the results as indicated in the press right after the election. We need a motion to that effect.
Move acceptance of the election results.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. Moved and seconded. Excuse me, I didn't hear you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. And now for this current board, we need a motion to adjourn sine die, and then we will seat the new board members.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. This time I need to turn over the chair to our vice president, who was whose term carried over and was not subject to this election. So, Benita, take over.
Come up.
You can talk from wherever you can get a
I
mic.
can talk from there. I thought you all were going to stand up.
We will. You need a mic.
I got to pick him.
Okay.
Everybody ready?
So the 5 of us that were recently elected need to...
Go down. Yeah. You can stand. It'd be good if you went down, but that's okay. Yeah. Okay. So, I, by repeating your names,
She's administering the oath of office to us.
so,
John Dillon.
okay.
I'm Peggy Patton.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education,
faithfully discharge the duties of the office
offices of the Board of Education, as the case may be of Urbana School District 116,
as the case may be of the Urbana School District 116,
in accordance with the Constitution of the United States,
in accordance with the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the laws of the state of Illinois to the best of my ability.
and the laws of the state of Illinois to the best of my ability.
And I further swear that
And I further swear that
I shall respect
I shall respect
taxpayers' interests by serving
taxpayers' interests by serving
as a faithful protector of the school district assets.
as a faithful protector of the school district's assets.
I shall encourage
I shall encourage
and respect
and respect
free expression of opinion
free expression of opinion
by my fellow board members
by my fellow board members
and others
and others
who seek a hearing before the board,
who seek a hearing before the board
while respecting
the
privacy of students and employees.
the privacy of students and employees.
I shall recognize
I shall recognize
that a board member
that a board member
has no legal authority
has no legal authority
as an individual, and that decisions
and that decisions
can be made only by a majority.
can be made only by a majority.
Vote at a public board meeting.
Vote at a public board meeting.
And I shall abide
And I shall abide
by majority decisions
by majority decisions
of the board
of the board
while retaining the rights to seek changes.
while retaining the rights to seek changes.
And such decisions
And such decisions
through ethical and constructive channels.
through ethical and constructive channels.
Okay, so you are now fully sworn in as Urbana School District 116 board members.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. All right. Cool. Thank you. All right.
We need to select a secretary pro tem. Peggy?
I'd like to nominate Ruth Ann Fisher. I asked her if,
No, this is to select a secretary pro tem
to,
to just be in charge for the next 2 or 3 minutes.
even though I'm an incoming board member.
It can be any of the
It
7
can
of
be
us.
your board
Sure.
member now.
Yeah.
You want to, you're serving in that role?
In the next 2 or 3 minutes?
Yes, for the next 2 or 3.
I just want to be clear what I'm signing up for. Yeah, that's right. This sounds like an ambush.
That means that you will keep track of the voting totals.
Gotcha.
While the officers are being selected.
Gotcha, yes. I will keep track of the voting totals.
Okay. Next, we need a motion or a decision from the board as to the length of term of the office. The administrative recommendation is 2 years. It can be 1 year or 2 years. It cannot be longer than 2 years because there's another election in 2 years. So a motion from the floor would be appropriate.
I move that terms of office for officers be 2 years.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion's carried.
Yep.
Now we do the election of the permanent officers. And I think I think I'm not supposed to be chairing. I think you're supposed
Well,
to be
you're a
chairing.
board
right?
member now. Okay, so we need the election of the officers. The first one up is the office of president.
I nominate John Dimmitt for president of the school board.
All in favor?
Or any other nomination.
Or any other nominations?
Make sure we're...
Any other? All in favor?
Aye.
Those
Are
opposed?
those opposed? Okay, we have one opposed,
Thank you.
opposition.
No, I'm, thank you.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Okay. No, I can't do that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take over that.
Okay.
We only do this every 2 years, folks, and we never remember from 2 years ago
Right,
what we...
that's right, so.
Sorry. The floor is now open for a motion, for a nomination for Vice President.
I nominate Benita Rollins-Gay for the office of Vice President.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other nominations? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. The floor is now open for a nomination for Secretary.
I nominate Ruth Ann Fisher.
I second that.
We are missing one step. I've just realized we have not asked the nominee if they will accept.
Oh, well,
But we're
We'll
far
start
enough along,
with
and I think
you.
we're okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it just finally hit me.
Yeah.
You do have to ask if they will accept the nomination. But we're good.
Are you good?
I'm good, thank
All
you.
right.
so
Are there any other nominations for Secretary? All in favor, say
Any
aye.
other nominations?
All in favor of Ruth Ann for Secretary, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign, motion's carried. Now, the floor is now open for a motion, or for a nomination for Secretary Pro Tem.
I nominate Brenda Carter.
I'll
second
second
that.
that.
Moved and seconded. Any other, do you accept the nomination?
I accept.
Any other nominations from the floor? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign, motion's carried. I heard that a rousing 7-0 on that vote.
Yep, arousing
Okay,
7-0.
good.
All the way.
Next, we need to establish our regular meeting dates, time, and place. The only controversial issue at this point in time is 7:30 or 7 p.m., but otherwise, a motion from the floor for the second and fourth Tuesdays, first and third
First and
Tuesdays of the
third.
month. My gosh, I'm in the wrong,
We had the wrong board meeting?
I've had a long day.
I'm gonna make a motion to say 7 o'clock.
Is there any discussion?
Well, you got to have a second first.
Oh, a second, is there a
Yeah, I
second?
gotta have a
To the
second.
time.
Nobody seconded. No.
It's dying for lack of a second unless I hear something pretty quick.
The only reason not is because we do often meet before, like we did tonight. Otherwise, I'm sympathetic to that, but I'm.
And then,
Yeah, there
I
are
just
times
think
when
about
I can...
sometimes our late meetings, you know.
Yeah, I know.
There are
Go
times
on.
when there's like a UMS concert where it starts
Yeah.
at 7. I can sneak in and see my kids play and then come over here
I think
afterwards.
we need a second if we're going to
So-
continue discussing
Okay,
about this. but-
we just don't want to.
Okay, I think that
tried.
motion is
You
died
tried,
for
all
lack
right.
of a second.
All right.
Is there a motion to be offered about regular meeting dates, time, and place?
I would move that we meet the first and third Tuesdays of the month at 7:30 at the school district central office, wherever that might be.
second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. All right.
Thank you.
We are done with that every 2-year
Yeah.
event.
Yeah.
We're ready to move on to our commendations and recognitions for this evening. And we begin with the Champaign-Urbana Schools Foundation.
Yep, I'm actually going to make the board members get up and head out there and shake some hands. So
Okay. That sounds good.
every year, the Champaign-Urbana Schools Foundation puts out nominations for cupcake awards in which teachers are encouraged to nominate their peers, and the criteria are for educators that go above and beyond their regular duty, people who are there early, stay late, and put in the extra effort to make sure that their students get the best possible education. I'm very pleased tonight to introduce the two people from Urbana School District who won the Cupcake Awards. If I could have Karen Kaplan, who is an instructor at Urbana Adult Education, and Rhonda Michelle Turner, who's a 4th grade teacher at Dr. Martin Luther King Elementary School. Thank you. The other thing I want to say about the Cupcake Awards is the CU Schools Foundation is doing things a little differently this year. They are actually having, in conjunction with Napleton's Teacher of the Year Award, Napleton's in Urbana, the car dealership up on Cunningham Avenue. And Napleton's is hosting a ceremony/reception for all the Cupcake Award winners, as well as all of the teachers and the students who nominated teachers in the 2017 Teacher of the Year ceremony that is put on and sponsored by Napleton's. CU Schools Foundation cooperated with the two school districts and Napleton's in organizing this event. Napleton's is covering the costs. That will be Wednesday, May 10th at Pear Tree Estates, which is at 2105 County Road 1000 East in Champaign. It goes from 5 until 8 p.m., so we look forward to seeing Karen and Michelle there and help celebrate again with them in a little bit different venue. So congratulations again, and thank you for your service. Next up, we have another special commendation, and this is an award, a very prestigious award, the Paul Simon Adult Learning of the Year Award recipient. And I'm going to ask Arlene Anderson to come up to the mic at the front there. And she actually has a special plaque to present to Ms. Crystal Bates, who is a graduate of Urbana Adult Education. And so, Arlene, if you would please do the honors of presenting the plaque, maybe reading what's on it, and then Crystal, if you'd like to say a word or two about your experience.
Okay, this is Crystal Bates, and she was presented this award at our IASA conference back in March. It's the Paul Simon Award, and IASA stands for the Illinois Adult and Continuing Education Association. It's the voice of adult education. In recognition of your determination and courage in the pursuit of continuing education, IASA is proud to present the Paul Simon Student of the Year Award to Crystal Bates. She was a 2012 graduate of Urbana Adult Education with her high school diploma from Urbana High School District 116.
Thank you all very much. I'm very honored to be standing before you today because my story did not begin here. My story began in a rural high school with a principal who told me I should drop out because I was never going to amount to anything. When I came to Urbana Adult High, or Urbana Adult Ed, I was discouraged. I was downtrodden. I was a single mother stuck in the loop of retail work and minimum wage. I had 3 children by this point. I had a 4-year-old and I had twin boys. I'm sorry, I had a 6-year-old and twin boys that were 2. So that was a lot on my plate. I took my studies very seriously. When it came time for spring break, I begged my teacher, Miss Sherry, please let me take extra books home. I promise I will not lose them, I will not damage them, just please let me take them home and get them done. So she did. I got them done. I did them well. I stand before you today getting ready to graduate from Parkland College. May 18th is graduation. I will be walking with APO, Alpha Phi Omega, service fraternity, because I have been pledged, or I have made from pledge to initiation, so I'm now active. I also will be graduating with honors. Now for the bad news. I have sold my home. I have been accepted out at Colorado State University. So while you guys are losing me, know that you have single-handedly, the professors, the instructors, the professionals here at UAE have single-handedly created one of the most unbelievable changes you will ever see. Thank you very much. I failed to mention that last year I was a student senator for Parkland, and this year I just completed as student trustee at Parkland College as well. So I hope to, I'm going to have a minor in social work when I graduate, but I want to change majors to political science because we need good leaders. We really do, and we need to invest back in our education, in our communities, because you know what? It takes a village. And we are part of this village in this room right now. So thank you all for what you do as well.
Thank you.
I will say before we move on, I was informed just earlier this week, too late to get it on tonight's, but we're going to have another special commendation of a teacher who received a very prestigious award at the next board meeting as well. So it's really amazing to have not only educators, but students and former students who are representing us so well. It's an honor and a privilege to work with so many amazing people.
Amen. All right. There's no policy reviews this evening, but we do have 2 study topics, and then we'll have an action item. So the first of those is our annual library report, and Hope Morrison, who is the librarian at ML King, will give the report this evening. And I see some of your cohorts back behind you. She's having some trouble with it. There we go. Maybe.
All right. Good evening. My name is Hope Morrison, and I'm the librarian at Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School, as well as the district library coordinator for Urbana School District 116. It is my privilege to serve in this role and to work aside the tremendously gifted librarians we have here in Urbana. I'd like to take a moment to introduce them to you this evening. Melinda Lundberg at Yankee Ridge, Krista Rude, Urbana Middle School, Tiffany Bowie at Leal, Matt Murray, Urbana High School, Brianna Morgan at Thomas Paine.
Yes.
Not with us this evening are Patty Murray, she's at Dr. Williams, and Linda Patterson, who is at Wiley School. Both of them had family emergencies this evening. I would like to take a moment, however, to speak about Linda. We'd like to honor Linda's career. She is retiring this spring. She has served as the library media specialist at Wiley since 2007. Prior to that, she was the library teaching assistant at Leal from 1999 to 2004. She left that position when she started going to graduate school and then became a fully certified librarian. So although she's not here, I'd like to take this moment to recognize her dedication and service to the libraries all these years.
Yeah, thank you, Linda.
To begin this evening, I'd like to introduce our updated mission statement, and this is on the handout you guys received this evening as well. In accordance with the American Association of School Librarians, the mission of the Urbana School District 116 library program is to ensure that students and staff are effective users of ideas and information. Students are empowered to be critical thinkers, enthusiastic readers, skillful researchers, and ethical users of information. This mission statement can be found on our brand new district library website. It just got added this week. We worked with Joanne Geigner to get that included underneath the program section of the website. So if we had internet, I would show you how it works.
Aww.
But as we do not, there's a little screenshot. If you go to the Urbana page right there under programs, you can get to the school library page. And from that page, I believe you have a screenshot of that as well in your packet. There are links to all of our libraries. So I encourage you to visit it when you have connectivity, and a spare minute. Additionally, the elementary librarians have spent a lot of time this year revamping our individual websites. This is something we did during our staff development time and we worked collaboratively on throughout the year. The websites share a common theme and layout, but also reflect the diversity and individual character of each of our buildings. I'm very proud of the work that everyone put into this process and hope you will take some time to visit each of the sites and see what our libraries have to offer. The individual school pages, like I said, are all linked off the main district page listed above. Last spring, I spoke to you, about a year ago, about the many roles of a school librarian: school leader, program administrator, information navigator, technology facilitator, collaborative teacher, and learner. For my presentation this evening, I'd like to turn your attention towards the impact of school libraries on students. This correlates with the portion of our mission statement that speaks about the student empowerment that is possible when schools have strong library programs in place. At this time, I'd like to tour you through our libraries and highlight the student empowerment that is happening every day in each of our buildings. Students are empowered to be critical thinkers. We challenge our students to be critical thinkers in a multitude of ways every day in the school library. These photos feature a couple of book clubs, this one at Urbana Middle School and another at Leal. Many of our buildings are experimenting with makerspace concepts and tinker labs. You can see some things happening here at the elementary level, and then some Lego project work going on at the middle school as well. Our 21st century learners are challenged to think critically about information, both print and digital. Students use a wide range of critical thinking skills to navigate and locate materials in the library and to work collaboratively within the library. Here we have a group of high schoolers at Urbana High School working on a multi-week project on civil rights, working collaboratively, discussing with one another towards the project. Students are empowered to be enthusiastic readers. A couple photos here of students choosing books, reading books they're excited about, some 7th graders selecting books of choice, reading in different formats. Here's some Dr. Williams students reading comic books on Kindles. And then we've got some special programs that we do that kind of build on the enthusiastic reader concept. This is 3 of our elementary Battle of the Books teams. This is a program we do in collaboration with Urbana Free Library. The teams go head-to-head. They prepare on all the books, and then they have a competition. And we do also do collaboration with the university. Every other year, we're extremely fortunate to have the Youth Literature Festival here in our community, and it's a plays a tremendous role in building enthusiasm about reading. At King, we hosted Christian Robinson this year, award-winning illustrator. Leal hosted Duncan Tonatue, and who was also at Dr. Williams, and kids got to visit, see them right there, interacting with the children, talking about the work that they do. Students are empowered to be skillful researchers. Students are using nonfiction books for information, getting information from a variety of non-print and digital sources. This is the Living Library project that Leal undertook this year, where individuals played the roles of experts on different topics, and others could check them out to learn more about those topics. Some research happening at Wiley School, print maps and online resources, using nonfiction books for information in the library, writing about the information they find when they're back in their classroom. And our 4th point, students are empowered to be ethical users of information. At UMS, students in the library learn about their digital footprint, how to protect themselves online, and how quickly personal information can become viral. These 4th graders are using the Digital Passport program offered by Common Sense Media, one of the curricula we are using to teach about online safety at the elementary level. I want to say a little bit more about digital citizenship. It's been an exciting year for our district as the elementary schools have rolled out the one-to-one device model. As librarians, this has had a huge impact on the type of instruction we offer, as well as on the ways in which our students access and use information. Ebook services such as Storia, Epic, and RazKids are getting daily use in the classrooms. Online subscriptions to services such as World Book Online are far more accessible. And students who were only occasionally getting to the computer lab are now using Chromebooks in multiple settings throughout the day. This shift in usage also results in a need for students to have a strong understanding of what it means to be a good digital citizen and how to make safe choices in an online environment. The state mandates that all students in grades 3 and above receive annual internet safety instruction, and the librarians have taken this on as part of our teaching. The elementary librarians spent time during staff development days researching and comparing various curricula for teaching about digital citizenship. We'll continue to head this charge as students continue to shift their mindsets towards responsible digital citizenship. Tonight's presentation has highlighted the many ways in which we empower our students through the instructional leadership we provide in the library. We're very proud of the work we do and grateful to the district for its support of the library program. At a time when budgets are uncertain and resources limited, it gives us great satisfaction to see how deeply Urbana values its libraries. Our librarians are tremendously talented and very dedicated. Each one holds a master's degree in library and information science, and many have additional endorsements and coursework beyond that. We're an ambitious group, always seeking out professional development and online coursework we can take to ensure that we stay on the edge of our profession, and 2 among us are working towards national board certification. We bring years of expertise and knowledge to the work we do every day. With that said, we hope you will once again reconsider earlier conversations about reinstating part-time clerical support in the libraries. The time we spend attending to clerical tasks each week, shelving, checking in books, running and distributing notices, takes away enormously from the time we could be spending attending to instruction, curriculum alignment, purchasing, collection development, technology integration, and working collaboratively with teachers on projects in the classroom. We depend heavily on volunteers to assist with these tasks, and this results in an equity issue, as some schools have a stronger volunteer base than others. Clerical support in the library will have a definite and profound impact on student learning, and we hope you will once again reconsider this as you plan for the future. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. We welcome you to visit us at any time to learn more about our programs firsthand and to explore our spaces. It's my sincere pleasure to work as a librarian in Urbana School District, and on behalf of my colleagues, I thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Hope. Any questions?
I was wondering if you can comment on any sort of struggles you're having finding a balance between spending on your collections budget with regards to print media versus online media subscriptions and the like.
Sure. It's always changing, and I think for the first time this year, with the accessibility being so much better, we're possibly turning more towards electronic subscriptions. We've been buying ebooks for years, and they haven't really been getting any use. So now the first task is to promote the ones that are already in our collection, and then to ensure that what we have in the library, what we're purchasing in the library, is in accordance, because there's a lot of other things teachers are using in their classrooms that we're not purchasing. So we want to make sure that we're not doubling up anywhere. Epic is a free resource that a lot of teachers use, and it may not always be free, but it is right now. Storia is something that the district has provided for us. World Book Online is something that y'all have supported for years, and now it's just getting so much more use than it ever did before, because you can literally have a question, grab a Chromebook, and get right on and get questions answered. So we'll continue to kind of find the balance there. We also, one more thing I want to say is we also really try to promote home access, especially with the summer months coming, and we all try to send home information on how students can get online to these programs in the summer. They can log into their accounts, they can continue using their ebooks, they can continue reading, as long as they have internet availability, whether that be at the public library or on a smartphone. That's a real opportunity for our kids to keep on reading in the summer. So.
When you talked about the one-to-one device model, I mean, is it accurate now to say that all of our students have?
It is one-to-one. Every kindergartner has an iPad. Every 1st through 5th grader has a Chromebook.
And the middle and high school have? Not one-to-one. Oh, it's elementary one-to-one, okay.
Elementary is one-to-one.
There's one, which means that they can do these things at home and over the summer, because these belong to the students?
No, the Chromebooks will not go home. The Chromebooks will stay. But there's one, it's per classroom, so each classroom has a cart.
I see, okay.
But they're there, they're open all day. If you go in our classrooms, the kids are pulling them off, working on them all the time. It's pretty amazing. We've
Yeah.
come so far since I started working here. It's really exciting.
And is that what contributed to the greater use of e-books, is because now students
Absolutely.
now are...
Yeah, it used to be you had to go to the computer lab, so we had a schedule, there weren't a lot of opportunities to be in there, or you had maybe a couple computers in your classroom, so people would use them in centers and that kind of thing. But now it's synchronous, you can all be looking at the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Does that help with textbook purchasing? I mean, how does this impact?
It might in the future. It's one of those things, a lot of elementary school teachers are using either apps or online open source resources for teaching a variety of subjects. We haven't seen an impact yet exactly in terms of, reducing costs of either print shop or textbook purchase, but my guess is that that'll be something that we'll see evolve.
That day's coming, okay. Well, thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you. I think that all of you are doing a great job, and keep up the great work.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions before you leave? Any other questions? All right. Thank you. Thanks
Thanks
for
so
everyone
much.
showing up to
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
And great report. Our second study topic this evening is with our District Family Liaison report. And I see Janice back there. Is Lucia here?
So we've asked Janice Mitchell to give us a report on the work that she does as our District Family Liaison. Lucia Maldonado, who's our Latino Family Liaison, wasn't able to present tonight, but she's going to be up on our next study session. And so it'll be kind of a two-parter. So Janice, take it away.
Good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Janice Mitchell, and I am the District Parent Community Outreach Liaison. I say that, and I always laugh because I know we have the Latino Parent Outreach Liaison, and I am the Community Outreach, and I will be honest with you, everyone who knows, I work with everyone across the district in our community. I am not... I can't speak Spanish, but Don will tell you, late at night, I encounter different situations, and I know enough to make certain that I get help where help is needed. And Lucia and I work very closely together to make certain that we're meeting the needs. So as I'm speaking tonight, I can assure you that when she comes up, she will probably talk about some of the same things that she and I are doing. I am going to just take a little time. Most of you are aware that this position was created kind of out of the equity audit back in 1996, 98 time period. And at that time, we had the audit, and there was just a lot of awareness around just the whole disparities where it came to specifically African-American students in terms of discipline, in terms of academics, family, parent involvement, community involvement, etc. I know we went for about 6 years where we had a committee that actually worked on about 18 goals, and out of that actually came the position of the parent and family outreach, and through the years the position has really just evolved. And I will tell you, I know starting out, there was a lot of administration. As a matter of fact, the position was housed here in the district office. In later years, I actually asked if we could house it at Urbana Middle School, and I can assure you since that time, although there's still administrative activities, there are definitely a lot of hands-on. So as I kind of give an overview of my day-to-day, it's it's one that I welcome, and I really appreciate the board, as well as our district administration, the building principals, teachers, and all, really for just seeing the need and continuing to have the position that Lucille and myself hold, which is, I know, very unique, because we're not in the classroom, the parents are not in the classroom, you know, whatever the extended family may not be in the classroom, but we have to work with the whole for the kids. And it is unique, and I know that it's a valued position and service of our community. As I moved to UMS, what it has done is really given me the opportunity to work hands-on, day-to-day interaction and intervention with our children and their families. This may mean knocking on the doors at 8 o'clock in the morning. This may mean knocking on the doors at 10 o'clock at night. What it basically means is meeting our students and families where they are. As I laugh, I think about, you know, at the high school, making a joke, and that counselor will know who he is. But, you know, he often laughs and says, you know, which house are you delivering the bed to today? Which house are you taking that dining room table to? And although we joke about it, it's a need. And that's one of those things that I know both Lucille and myself work closely with our community in terms of making certain the families, the households of the kids that we are serving in our district, that they have what's needed so that when they're coming to class the next day, they can say that they've had a bed to sleep on. And where some of us, you know, some of us can't imagine that there are homes, that there are children, that there are families where there are not beds in the home, or even where there's the food insecurities. I know that we hear it on the news. We don't think about it until you walk in that situation. And we do have those, but I can assure you, as soon as we encounter those situations, we will go the extra mile to make certain. Some of you that I'm looking at now, certainly some of our teachers and building principals will tell you, I don't mind contacting whoever it may be to say, this is the situation that we have, and the students are in our district. So we want to make certain whatever the actual resources that families are in need of. This does not always come by a referral. It doesn't. This could very well come by, and has come by, because you meet the kid, you meet the students, and with everything that may be presented in a child's life, you know, it's not always they're just going to open up and say what's missing. That, you know, it's not so much what's needed. A lot of our kids don't know to say that we need this because they're surviving without it. But we're able to pick up on it and help them. In a time where a lot of funding, since I've been in this position, many of you can remember the wraparound supports that we had in our community, and that was really highly used by, I know, Champaign, Rantoul, surrounding districts, and it really was helpful for our families. But within these last 3 years, wraparound funding was, I mean, it's just gone. So it leaves us to reaching out to businesses in the community, to individuals in the communities, to make certain that we're able to help meet the needs of the families. I have been blessed over the last several years to be able to work with some of our students who are invited to attend the legislative day in Springfield. While that's educational for them, it's been very educational for me, because for you know, those who know me, I try to stay out of the political light. But it's awesome learning and being able to see firsthand. And each year, as we take more students to Springfield, helping, you know, seeing them in those roles, meeting the kids the next couple years who are reminded of having gone on that experience and writing about it, it's been great. I continue to represent our school district on several community committees. I'm always present at the United Way meetings and representing Urbana, and many of you are aware Urbana Connection Center as well as Urbana School District, because that is how I introduce myself, because while I'm working with our students during the day, I do have an extension in the evening, and right now I'm working with about 83 of our students in the evening that are Urbana students from across our district. I also serve on the local area networks, where I know that they're very busy trying to figure out how can we secure more funding for the county. Many of you have heard Champaign County is resource rich, and we are resource rich. And for those of us who know how to access what we need, it's very resource rich. It's for those people who do not, it leaves it to us to help connect those. Also being in the middle school, I will tell you that any given day, you may walk in the building, and I may be in the front office, and it's, jokingly but not jokingly. I pretty much help out where I'm needed, and I'm okay with doing that, so that whatever it takes to greet our parents, to see our kids get to know us. I have a goal. I've talked to Dr. Jennifer Ivory Tatum, and she's aware, she's kind of mentioned to me that we are hoping that we're going to, in the real near future, kind of develop our own in-district system of care. That she's talked about making certain that we have a connection across our district with all of our service providers, our outreach workers, our social workers. A lot of us are serving. We're serving our kids, and it would be great to just establish our own way of helping meet our needs of our students and their families. A lot of times what we see, and families are in crisis, a lot of times there are not crisis resources out there that just kind of, can get to them right then when it's needed. So it'd be great that we're able to look at that down the line, and how can we build that in terms of helping our own. Pretty much, I am still here in the position and working with our children and families. Lastly, I'm going to mention and making certain I put this in here. Sometimes it's I don't like to say above and beyond, but my work really does extend beyond just the school, just going to a community meeting, because more so in the more recent years, one of the unfortunate but I guess blessed situations that I'm having to deal with, a lot of funerals, and we've had our share of some of our young people who were part of our district that I've actually been there to support our other children and families that are in the district, as well as some of our own staff. So it's through the years, we kind of see those changes, but we keep changing to make certain that we're helping to meet the needs of our families. So if there are any questions, I will be happy to try to answer.
Any questions for Janice?
I don't have a question. I have a statement to make. You all, there are homeless kids that are hidden that we don't recognize. They don't let us know. And when I recognize that they are in Urbana and it has impact on them, Janice, or if I call the school, they get right on it, because this was a real detrimental case. As a board member, I put the hat down. I put myself in as a community member, but also as a crisis person. And they provided to stop this family from breaking. It was a high school student that should have been recognized that he was homeless. But he didn't let his peers, because he didn't want them to come to see where he was staying. And so I definitely agree with what Jennifer and you are trying to put together with that, because we've got to do better. We do. Because when I went to that hotel, half everybody in there were Urbana. It was 5 kids in one room, and you all didn't know it because they didn't let you know it. So it's some way that we have to do it, and with the outreach, you all are just doing a great job, Lucia and you, working with those families, because I see you all, and the families mention your names. They do. And I'm not down in Champaign, but I hear Urbana's name all the time. I'm in Champaign working, but you all are doing a beautiful job, and whatever you can do to reach out a little more, like you're doing now, that would be fantastic, because it will save a life, as you know. So Janice, just continue, and however me as a board member, as a community member can help you all, I'll be there.
And like I said, thank you. It is a we. It's a we process, because I promise you, I call on so many people, and not just calling out anyone. I had to call on a district administrator, and I didn't even call on them. It's just the situation was presented, and they helped. So it's, and that's in a lot of situations, so.
And my other question is, the school social workers, where, are they working with Janice and them, or, no, I'm asking a question. Are they in Key? There are 2 at the high school.
2 at the high school.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
There are 2 at the high school, 2 at the middle school, and 1 full-time at each elementary school.
But I don't never hear their names, though.
They are working hard with community and family.
Inside the school?
Yes, and outside the school, and
Okay.
families are reaching out to them, and they are working with families on a daily basis.
And I think, and I don't have to kind of reach way back, but even more recently, we have a kind of situation that was a crisis emergency, and it's really taken all of us in trying to get some clothes, to get some bus passes, to get some emergency shelter. So, it's all of us running different directions and emailing and trying to keep abreast of what's going on. So we are
And we
continuing.
had administrative back, and I like that, because Don even plugged in, so.
Well, when Janice talks about WRAP and the wraparound model, and the fact that wraparound money and support, and really, unfortunately, many of our community partners over the last 2 years with the state budget impasse and the state budget crisis, they've disappeared. And so when we talk about a state budget impasse and public education, we're not just talking about paying our teachers and opening our schools. We're talking about the health and well-being of our students and families. And so when you talk about wraparound, and when you talk about the work that Ms. Mitchell does with our social workers, which I've seen firsthand over the last week in terms of emails that I've been copied on and things, it's a constant thing. And as Janice said, when we have a crisis, it does take a lot of us to wrap. And what we're doing is it is kind of an internal wrap, because our community partners are no longer there, because funds are not there. Many of them have closed their doors. And so we're trying to pick up as much of that slack as we can. And again, Janice, when she talks about going above and beyond, it's beyond and beyond and beyond. So,
No, I think we have to just continue to look at it as, although some of the resources may have disappeared, the funding may have disappeared, it doesn't mean that sometimes the difficulties, the challenges that are faced by our families disappear. So we have to make it work, and I've seen it firsthand where administrators that are sitting right before me will take money, take their beds, take whatever they have, and say, take this and go with it, and no names or anything. It's just make this happen. And so.
Yeah, I had a question. Thank you for your service to the district, Ms. Mitchell. For those of us who don't understand kind of how, whenever you talk about your job, it just sounds so complex, and I can't even kind of imagine how you do within, 8-hour day what you do. But how do you decide who gets your attention, especially with new families in the district who come to the district, or these hard-to-reach families who may be, living homeless, but we don't know about it? How do you find out? I mean, is it through various sources, through principals or social workers or word of mouth or people in the community? Do they call you?
Kind of just what you said.
All of the above.
All of the above. I often joke because I have the same home phone number that I've had when I moved here in '88. I have the same cell phone number that I had since they started making cell phones, probably. I live in the same house that we bought back whenever, and everybody knows how to find Ms. Mitchell if they're looking for me.
I see.
So
Okay.
it's, they really, though, in all honesty, and I think I mentioned earlier, it's not always a formal referral. Someone, and Scott can tell you, catch me in the hall and say, hey, I need to say this, or I could be at church, and somebody could say, hey, we need this, and sometimes it may be, just a listening ear, because you do have to know when and when not to and how far, and then other times it may mean you need to
respond. You really need to do something. And as long as it's about the child, the children, pretty much we'll make it happen. And determining who gets my attention, I don't really know how that happens. I just know we try to give it everywhere that we can.
You can. And if you had a crystal ball or a magic wand and you could, make changes in the work you do, the services you address, what would you like? How would you like to see us move in Urbana School District? I mean, you mentioned this in-district care model.
Actually, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So I was excited when Dr. Ivy Tatum, Jennifer mentioned that to me, just pulling everybody together who's working, and so that we can, because we're all doing great things. In every building, we have outreach workers or parent workers, and we're all doing great things. I think pulling it together and really establishing our own Urbana system is, I'm just excited that we can get there. And I know I can see that we are going to get there.
So that we would, in-house, be able to provide, if a family needed temporary housing, or a family needed, health care, or a family needed transportation, that we would have the ability within our district to respond, and we wouldn't have to count on services that sometimes are funded and aren't. Is that the idea behind this in-district care model?
No, I don't know if that's.
Okay.
That's not what.
Okay.
That's not what Janice and I have talked about doing. We've talked about having more of a coordinated effort that includes social workers, the CU Schools Foundation, regional office. I mean, right now, the resources, like Don mentioned, are very hit or miss. And when we have these families in crisis, like we had an undocumented student that we found out recently, her sponsor was abusing her and taking her money that she was earning at McDonald's. I mean, and when those kind of things happen, we need to, what's our first thing that we do? And the high school was great. The social worker at the high school, Alicia Tresice, got on that. And I mean, but it is kind of like sending out that crisis call, and it's not very coordinated. It's just who we can get, who steps up, who says, I'll do that, I'll do this. And a lot of times that includes Janice and Lucia to be that first line of defense. And this time of the year, there is no money. There's no one has any money left to support families. I got a phone call just this week from a mom who moved, and she doesn't get her first paycheck for 2 weeks, and she started a new job, and she's been all over the community, and nobody can help her because it's May, and no one has any funding left. And so it's just having those kind of coordinated systems that we wouldn't be providing the financial supports, but we would be coordinating and providing the linkage.
Gotcha. Okay. That seems really worthwhile. Yeah. Thank you.
I had a quick question for you, Janice. Number one, I think you do a great job. Number two, my question is, do you ever have time to get any kind of professional I know you go to professional trainings and everything with the district, but do you ever attend any conferences, and do you ever have time to actually sit down with the other social workers when you're not in a crisis mode, just to share ideas and things like that?
Very seldom. And in terms of going to professional development, yes, I do get the opportunity to attend some. Not all the time. They may be sponsored, like I said, in connection with the school district, but I'm thinking maybe last year I went to a conference and it had more to do with, grant writing, program development, and that sort. But at the same time, I think we all know, before I became an employee in our district, we were having programs in our district because I was learning how to do what we needed to do to keep our kids busy over the summer. So I just kind of was doing some refresher, and there's some other things, but I will tell you the one thing that you will learn quickly when you're out on the front line, reality hits, and you do what you have to do to make things work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Janice?
Well, just one other thought. I mean, when you were talking about families just running out of money, partly sometimes just because of the time of year, and I mean, I know we have successfully had, budgets, or amounts of money, the scholarships that were raised to help people pay for music lessons or, sports equipment or to go traveling to debate clubs. And families have been tremendously generous because they want many families in our district want every child and family to have those things. I mean, have we ever thought about having, a fund that would be for families who need, who are at a crisis and they need just a little, extra to pay the rent that 1 month? I mean, it just seems like our district is tremendously generous.
Yes,
in many ways.
Yes, and you'll see it come before you. Yes, it needs to be on paper because I think when we bring something for it, to piecemeal talk about a plan, but I think that going forward, the board will see, a proposal for just that to take place in terms of in our district. Although I do want to say that there are funds, and Don, you may speak to it more better, but we do have funds, pots of money, because in a current situation that we are working with right now, we know that when the student needs clothing just because of different things, and the high school is actually, that's going to come from a certain fund at the high school. The student was in need of bus pass. That's going to come out of a different fund.
I see.
The mother was in need of a bus pass. Well, we didn't have either of those pots paid for the parent, but we were able to go to the community and get a bus pass for the parent. So we're kind of working all together.
Okay.
And I think Janice mentioned some really good examples like school supplies and socks and underwear and coats. And I mean, so we have lots of funds where we are able to do those kind of things for families. Transportation, door-to-door, cabs, buses, bus passes. I think the need that we haven't been able to provide are paying people's rent and power bill and water. And I mean, and those are things that we've not really delved into as a school district, per se, us doing that. But I think we've provided the linkages and the supports in the community to get those people those resources they need, from Salt and Light and Light Heat and places like that we know. And our social workers are amazing at doing that piece of it, where we all kind of help support. But I think in terms of the smaller things that we could do to help students get in school and get them registered as fast as we can and get them here, if we have to send a cab for a couple days, whatever we need to do to make sure students are in school, are things that we do. But it's difficult if we were to get into the business of paying power bills and rents, and because we would, that's very that it's hard to make those decisions. Who do we do that for and who don't we do that for? And I think there are a lot of those kind of concerns, I think, as a district we have to be careful of. But I think, in terms of homelessness and McKinney-Vento and those areas, we do a really good job of getting students the everyday things that they need to get to school and feel safe and successful. So.
And the other things, there are a couple of the businesses in our community that when you go to them from the school district, from a nonprofit also, they will work with you in terms of the funding and how much you need to pay if we're just needing to get families the bed that we're talking about, or to really work with us.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's good to know. Thank you.
I was appalled about student and mom sharing. Student and mom were sharing, the homeless student and mom was sharing bus passes. So how do we recognize, how are we able to recognize that?
It's not the bus passes total.
No, just getting to school. No, they were sharing a bus pass.
Well, they shouldn't be doing that.
The student had to give, and the mom had medical, and the student,
took care
and
of it.
But we took care of that.
We just didn't know. We didn't know.
And
but
they're
once
at the high school, and you didn't
once
know.
that came to my attention, though, again, like I said, it's taken steps, but the main thing is, and I think I always go into a situation looking at what do we need, and that's kind of my focus. I really focus on focusing on what I need to focus on to get there. I mean, and if it's emergency shelter, it may take me a week, but if we get to that emergency shelter, then I'm going to deal with, continue to work with the family. So, in between those times, we realize that there are some other things that come. In terms of identifying, I think that this will be one of, as we're talking about moving forward, and organizing. I think it will be a way where we will meet as a district in terms of the service providers, our own in-house service providers, and linkage and referral will occur because we can share who we are working with. And our district has changed over time. So lots of time people, some of our newer employees don't know what our roles are. So you have some of our older staff, more veteran staff, then they know. They sit and talk about wraparound and what Ms. Mitchell used to do and this, but the younger people are sitting there looking, younger teachers and staff are like, what? So, we just have to, we catch the students and families. We try.
All right, anything else for Janice tonight? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will definitely be coming back. Everyone know that we do have Urbana Neighborhood Connection Center, and that is an extension of our day job and of my day job. And I will say that it is still just an extension of Urbana. And like I said, currently we have 83 students that are enrolled and attending, and we just recently opened a second location in Urbana. So, and I will be back because I need to thank all of our district for the support.
Thank you. Thanks, Janice. Okay. All right, we're ready to move forward to our action items, and we just have one of them this evening, which is the motion to approve the supplemental summer working cash projects. And Oda has gone through this list many times with us. So if there's any, let's get a motion on the floor, and then we'll see if there's any questions.
I move approval of the summer work projects that Oda presented at our last meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or concerns about it, discussion? This is spending money, so we'll need a roll call vote.
Member Carter?
Yes.
Member Hall?
Yes.
Member Patton?
Yes.
Member Pulaski?
Yes.
Member Fisher votes yes. Vice President
Yes.
Walensky and President Bennett?
Yes. Motion carries. We have no call for any future special or executive meetings. Superintendent's report this evening.
I have a number of things. I'd like to start by reminding everyone in our viewing audience that it's Teacher Appreciation Week. And I would hope that everyone takes a minute to appreciate maybe the teachers that have helped them or the teachers that have helped their students, but specifically the teachers that are supporting our students here in Urbana. We have some amazing teachers who go above and beyond, more than just the two that were recognized tonight as Cupcake Award winners. And I hope that everyone takes some time out to recognize them and thank them for all that they do to support our students. That being said, I had lunch today at Rotary, and 4 of our teachers were there. 3 of them were there supporting students who received awards from Rotary. Today was our Urbana Rotary's Vocational Award Day. We had 3 students from Urbana High School representing the work opportunities programs there, the executive internship, the co-op, and the assist program not the STEP program, not assist program, the STEP program that place students in work opportunities during the school day. So they attend class for half the day and then go to work for part of the day. Those 3 students were Brent, who's at Prairie Land Feeds, Clayton, who's been at Dairy Queen in Champaign, and TK, who has been working in the coroner's office for most of the semester and had some amazing stories. And those 3 were the 3 award winners for Urbana this year for those 3 programs. And they all had great stories about what they've learned in their own individual programs, and they also had really great plans for what they're doing after high school too. So I was very pleased to meet them and get a chance to meet their parents, and it was very nice for Rotary to award them. They also got a gift card, a fairly substantial gift card, in addition to the recognition. Next, Carol. We're going to talk just a little bit about the bond ratings. Just give you an overview. We did get some good news from our bond rating agency. And Carol, if you could just kind of tell what the bond ratings mean and then what our rating is and how it's improved.
Sure. S&P Global Rating System is the group that actually does our ratings. They go through a pretty detailed process. I mean, they reviewed a lot of our financials. They request a lot of additional information. They had a conference call that Don and I participated in, and very thorough analysis that they do. And they came back. We've had a AA- rating for quite some time, but recently, past 5 years or so, it went downgraded to negative at one point, and they upgraded us this time to stable. So that was good news that they actually upgraded us. Nice timing, since we're going to be going out for bonds here in the fall. What these ratings mean is basically that you are a good financial risk to any investors out there. So goes anywhere from AAA down to, I think, BB maybe. We don't want to even go down that far, but AA is pretty normal for a school district. So being AA stable is a good news, and hopefully that's the highest we've been in 20 years. So
Highest we've been in 20 years.
but we always stay around that. So it's better to be stable or positive than to be negative. So it's good news. And they basically identified the fact that our fund balances had improved, mainly, as you know, because we received that $7 million from Presidents with the TIF surplus that came back. That influx of money bumped our fund balances up. So as long as we can maintain that, we will be in good shape. So hopefully going forward, we will be able to keep those funds.
Thank you. The other piece that kind of goes along with that is right now in Springfield, there's a lot of talk about the reform that's being done to the funding formula for schools, to the general state aid formula. And right now, I would just like to put in a little plug for close to 550 of my fellow superintendents, including Dr. Wiegand and Champaign, myself, have signed on to a letter encouraging our state legislators and the governor to work not only to get past the budget impasse, but to, in a bipartisan way, fix the funding formula and present a more equitable funding program for our schools. The state of Illinois is the least equitably funded state when it comes to public education out of our 50 states. The budget impasse does have real impacts, as we talked about earlier, in relation to how social service agencies outside of the district can serve our students and families. But we also have a real impact here inside the district. And right now, the state of Illinois owes Urbana School District $1.4 million. And that's a real impact. We have a great news that we have been upgraded in our bond ratings. But a big part of that is because we have been able to show the stability even in rough financial times. And that's kudos not just to Carol and her team in the business office, but it's also to the work that this board has done to make sure that we're fiscally responsible.
That 1.4 is just the categoricals they owe us.
That's just mandated categorical.
It's close to $3 million on that list. That tape that was on the top of that's the categoricals. So they owe us 2.9. The total on that report is what they owe us.
Thank you. I didn't turn the page, Carol.
So, sorry, I just wanted to correct that. It's a little more than the 1.4.
So 1.4 was on page 1. 2.9 is what the total is that the state owes us. And that's a significant amount of money. And so we, as a group of superintendents around the state, are doing our best to put some pressure on both political parties and all parts of Springfield to work together in a bipartisan way to end the budget impasse, to fix the funding formula. I do think that now is a time there's more energy behind fixing the funding formula than I've seen in my 4 years as superintendent. And I really think that we can get something done. Unfortunately, the budget impasse is a little bit more challenging to get past. So I'd just like to put that out there. There's a lot out there on social media with the hashtag #FixTheFormula. I think now is the time for all of us to get on the phone and basically, that's the message, is we need to end the budget impasse and we need to fix the formula. And I'm not advocating any one, political solution to this, but it's those things have to happen in order for public education to do what it does. And public education is one of the greatest economic drivers in this state. And by having $2.9 million that they owe us, that's $2.9 million of economic development money, the way I see it. So I'm going to stop on that one.
Thank you.
And end by having Mr. Stark come up. I think I've covered my big issues. I asked Mr. Stark to come up because the News-Gazette published an article recently about the State Farm Center and the high schools that are graduating at the State Farm Center, and they didn't have complete information. So, Mr. Stark.
Okay, no worries. May 27th, 11 o'clock. Those of you that are attending graduation, if you could be at the State Farm Center at 10:30. We'll be going back to the State Farm Center, which we have been at since 1973, with the exception of the last 3 years that I've been principal, because apparently there was some construction going on. So I will tell you that as about this time of year, back in 2013, I got a letter from the State Farm Center that says there'll be no graduations for 3 years right before I took over as principal, and I went, oh, good.
Yeah.
How fun is that?
Welcome.
So I will tell you, we got to graduate outdoors once, which was lovely and wonderful and everything else, but it is, our patrons have been very clear about what they would like to see. It fulfills, State Farm Center fulfills the priorities of the board, which is no tickets, which has been a priority, handing out diplomas and giving us a space to do that. So when we went to the middle school, and we really appreciate the middle school hosting the high school for graduation, we managed to accommodate everybody. We did have overflow one year, but even that, we were able to get the people in, but it was very crowded and very tight, and I'm pretty certain that we can bring as many as we want to the State Farm Center. If we fill it, I'm sure the athletic department will get a hold of us and, welcome us back anytime we want. So, but May 27th, 11 o'clock, we will kick off, and we'll have practice the day before, so we'll work out some of the details. Mr. Waller has been working directly with the State Farm Center to see those kind of things, to work out the details and stuff. So this will be my first one as principal in the State Farm Center, so I'm hoping to learn a few things. So.
It's an experience.
It is an experience. And they've done some readjustments too, so because of the construction and whatnot.
So this is a change in time?
No, change of time is, the time is the same.
Well,
time is the
from
same.
The past, you mean?
For the past few years. Yeah, for the last 3 years, we've had it at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay. When we were at the Assembly Hall before, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, but I think that's because air conditioning, we needed to be cooler. Now we don't have to worry about heat.
Right. 11 o'clock is what we've done it the last 3 years, and that has been pretty popular because that still allows a lot of afternoon activities and parties and things along those lines. So,
Is the procedure still the same to check, we go down and in, they check purses, security?
Oh, yes, they will, yeah, they will.
The procedure the same on that?
Yes, you'll be on the VIP list along with all the graduates and the staff, and so they'll check, my understanding is they will check that so that you guys can go down, so, yeah. Okay. I will tell you, as I'm speaking from what Mr. Waller has told me, because, again, first time through it, so we'll see. So, but yes, they will have State Farm Center. It is $5 to park per car, so be aware of that. That is, that's part of what the State Farm Center does. And, but
they have.
So, any questions or comments? I'm pretty sure we're the first one to high school graduate.
Are we?
Just for the record.
All right.
Just for the public.
I believe Centennial's a few days later.
Yeah.
Well,
So we're the
it's always good to be followed.
Yeah.
We like to make our mark.
Just,
Good.
threw your band away.
And we won't worry
That's
about,
right.
we won't worry about the rain this year. won't we?
That's true. Yes, and I will say, as principal of this high school, let me just say thank you.
Yeah.
Because, and Mr. Dimmitt, thank you for always updating my weather report the last 3 years. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Stark.
Thank you. Any other?
So the only other thing that I want to point out that's a date on here that actually is the day after the next board meeting, but I want to put it on the calendars just because it's not on the announcements here, is Tuesday, May 17th at 7 p.m. is the Urbana High School Honors Night, and that's where literally dozens and dozens of scholarships are awarded, and students are recognized for their academic achievement, and so we'll make sure to send out a reminder about that so that board members can have that on their calendars. So it's Wednesday, May 17th at 7 p.m.
At the high
in
school.
Cobb Auditorium. That's it.
All right, board reports.
You always have that. I just want everybody to know, Friday at 7 o'clock, well, first of all, this is Children's Mental Health Month. So if you get a green ribbon, wear it, and the little wristbands. But they're honoring our retired Leo teacher, Gladys Poe, is being honored Friday at Reverend Nash Church, which is it New Hope on Bradley. And it's for all the work that she's done in the community. It's being awarded by the Ministerial Alliance. She didn't even know, she was surprised. The other thing is the guest speaker is our new Chancellor, Jones. And so they have him on flyers that are circulating around. So this is going to be a great event. So I'll be leaving the Children's Mental Health dinner and then going to see her. They're having a dinner for the families with children with mental illness and developmental, and just for families that are being worked with throughout Champaign County. And then this for her will be at 7.
On this Friday night?
May 5th.
May 5th, and that's this Friday, yeah.
Yes. And there's some other honors, but hers stood out because she's a former Urbana teacher. And she still subs, too.
Yeah.
So, that's it.
All right.
We don't let them go very far.
No,
Right.
no.
They still subbing, yes, which is great.
Other board reports this evening.
This isn't really a report, but we should have said, or I should have said, thank you to those who are willing to accept the board officer positions again next year. I mean, Ruth Ann and Don and Benita, I mean, it's good of you to do that, so thank you. All 4 of you. Yeah.
I had a quick question. When is the UMS promotion ceremony, and when is the Urbana Adult Ed?
So if I had my strong connection here, UMS is on Wednesday, May 24th at 9 a.m. at Urbana Middle School in the gym. And I will check with Dr. Bindum about the high school. I believe that they might be, last year they joined Urbana High School, and they were at the beginning of the seniors, and they might be doing that again. I haven't confirmed
Adult
that
Ed.
with them.
Adult Ed.
Yeah. But I'll check and I'll get that to you.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Paul, anything you want to say about Sweeney Todd?
Yeah.
I thought they did the cast did a great job. It was a challenging show, a lot of technical challenges they had to overcome, but the cast did a fantastic job, and saw it twice. I thought it was awesome. I don't know if anybody else has had a chance to see it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, I mean, there's the end-of-year banquet coming up next week, and that's when they announce next year's slate of shows. So all the kids are kind of waiting with bated breath for that.
I'm glad to see some traditions haven't died, and that the fish appeared Saturday night.
Yeah.
So, good for those.
Sure.
Were you there
Yeah.
Saturday night? Yeah. It slid down the chute along with everything. Lots of other things. So, all right. Any other board reports for this evening? If not, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
One more, just Thursday is the summer governing meeting with district governing meeting with Dr. Rice at Urbana Gardens.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Thanks.